Alright, my little art friends, we're in for a special treat today. We're not doing Photoshop or Flash, we're doing Adobe Illustrator. Just go to your Start menu like you would if you were going to find Photoshop. Go to your Adobe Design Premiere CS4 and scroll down till you find Adobe Illustrator CS4, the little orange AI icon. Once you do, you're going to click it. It's going to open up to a screen that looks like this, and we have Create New, and we're just going to go with the top one, which is Print Document. We're going with the defaults today, nothing special, nothing fancy. Just going to jump right in there, and it's going to open up what sizes do you want, and we're just going to go with the default and just click OK. So we've got ourselves a nice little working area. Now what you'll notice about Illustrator is it is very similar to Photoshop in the sense that it has the toolbar over on the left hand side, and it has your windows like your color and your layers over on the right hand side. But it's different because it's not pixel based. It is vector based, and we'll get into that later, but basically pixels just means it has little dots, right? Little pixels, your dots per inch. On here, this is vector, it's dealing with mathematical equations. So you never see those little dots, which is nice. We're going to draw a flower today. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to this rectangle, probably defaulted to the rectangle tool. And if you click on it and you hold it down, you'll see there are different shapes you can make in Illustrator that are just pre-built right into it. And I'm going to start with the star tool. I'm going to click it. I'm going to come over here with my mouse, hold it down and drag, and you can see the bigger I drag out, the bigger the star gets. So I'm going to get a nice little decent sized star right there. Alright, this right here is your first selection tool, very much like the move tool. Whenever you want to select an object in Illustrator, just like in Photoshop, you click on it with that selection tool, that first one, and you can grab it and then you can drag it. So if you want to change anything about it, you have to select it in order to do so. The next thing you'll notice in Illustrator is our object has two colors, just like it does in Photoshop, but these colors are not the foreground and background colors. These colors are the fill color, what is inside my space, and the stroke, which is the color that the shape that has made. Right now my stroke is black and the inside is white. And if I wanted to change that, I'd simply select my object, come over here to my colors, I'm going to open up swatches, and I'm on the fill color. And well, that's fine. We'll just click a fill, and you can see it's green. Now if I go back and I click off of it, you'll see my fill is now green and the stroke is black. What we really want to do with this star is we want to change the color of this star. We don't want to have it just white or green. We actually want to add a gradient. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go to my gradient window, which is right here on the side, on the right side, and I click it and I open it up. And now you can see I've got a gradient that I can create. So what type of gradient do I want to create? My mouse is getting a little stuck here. There we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want a radial gradient, and it automatically applies my radial gradient to the object. Of course it's black and white and it's not very exciting, but by clicking on these little guys, just like you would in Photoshop, I can change the color. So I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to say maybe purple, and I'm going to click on the other one and say double click on it and do maybe kind of an orange. I don't know, it's kind of gross. And I'm going to add a few new ones in the middle. You can add ones and you can take them away by simply clicking and dragging down. And I'm going to add maybe a yellow in there. See how that looks. Oh, that's terribly horrible. Beautiful. Alright, maybe I come out a little bit more. Maybe I'll even add one more. Get really fancy and add a red here at the end. So you go ahead and make your gradient any way you want. That looks pretty nice. Pretty happy with that. And once you've got it, you've got your star the way you can just click this little arrow thing and that'll go back into its little space. And I've got my little star and it's got this neat little gradient. Now this doesn't look like a flower at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of the effects. I'm going to click on it to select it with my selection tool. I'm going to go up to Effects and I'm going to go down to Distort and Transform, and I'm going to click Pucker and Bloat, my favorite one. Pucker and Bloat, just because it's fun to say pucker and bloat. I click on it and it's going to ask me how much pucker and bloat do I want, and it defaults to 0. Now I can click the little preview button and I can actually see how much pucker and bloat I want. I want some bloat, so I'm probably going to go about 100% bloat. So I'm going to climb up here to about 100, 103. Oh, beautiful. Now it's starting to look like a little flower, doesn't it? It's beautiful. I'm going to click OK. I love my bloat, and I've got my little flower there. But it really doesn't look like a flower because it's missing a couple of little areas there. So I'm going to click on it again with my selection tool to select it. I'm going to, with my hand tied behind my back, my left hand, hit Control C to copy it, Control V to paste it, and now I've got another one there. And what I can do with this one is I can go right outside the bounding box and I can rotate it just like I would in Photoshop. So I'm going to rotate it about 119 degrees there, and then I'm going to drag it and put it right on top of the other one, and I'm just going to kind of tab down with my arrow keys on the keyboard till I get it about center where I want it. That looks pretty nice right there. Now that's a pretty little flower. You know what would be nicer? If it had a little circle in the middle. So I'm just going to go back to my shape tool. I'm going to hold down, I'm going to grab my little ellipse tool here, and I'm going to make a little circle. I'm going to hold down the shift key so it stays in proportion. I'm going to drag it out to about there. That looks pretty nice. Go back for my selection tool and just move it and drag it right there in the middle. Boy, that is a beautiful little flower, isn't it? Now here's the fun thing. I can grab the whole flower by selecting and dragging a box around it. That'll select all of it. I can hit Control C, Control V to copy it and to paste it, and now I've got another flower, and maybe I'll drag that one down and go a little smaller. And the next thing you know, I could copy that one and paste it. I could have a whole little flower garden going on here, a whole little bouquet of flowers. So go ahead and make yourself a couple little flowers right there. Have some fun with it. You might also want to play around. You don't just have to go with the bloat option there, but you can also go into Effect and snag yourself the pucker option, and we can check out the pucker option, which will be much different, kind of like a star. You could have some kind of crazy star things going on at night, and that guy could have a little circle in the middle of him too. Just copy and paste a little circle. Look, it's a little explosion in space. So there's a lot of different things you can do with it. When you're done, go to File, go to Save for Web and Device, and we can just select a JPEG right here, and we can save that, post it to the blog, write a little something about it, about how much you love making flowers, and that's about it. So we'll do another one tomorrow. Till then, hasta la pasta.